So welcome on October 5, Monday morning, your first day, most of you, your first day at UVA Health. I'm really excited to have you here. What a gorgeous day it is here in Charlottesville. I'm wearing my colors, got my orange and blue on today. And we'd like to welcome all of you. So first couple of things we want to start off with is just to get a few maintenance things out of the way right away. First, want to let you know that this session is being recorded and it's going to be linked to a website for easy access later. So should you want to take notes, by all means you can, but we will have it linked so that you can access it at any time. The second thing I'd like you to know is to please remain muted in this session. Now, I've muted all of you. You do have the ability to unmute, but we may ask for comments, we may ask for some feedback, but we'll let you know when to unmute, because if there's some things that are distracting us, then we do really want to concentrate on this information because we only have an hour to cover a lot of things. And then finally, what I really want to encourage you to do is to use the chat feature for any questions that you may have. And should we finish up early, finish up on time, we're going to take a look at those questions so that we can answer those questions for everyone. So, good morning. Welcome to UVA Health. Isn't that a beautiful scene? Gosh, that's a beautiful scene. Welcome to UVA Health. You have joined a world-class organization. We're the #1 hospital in the state of Virginia for 5 consecutive years. And recently we were named one of the top 100 great hospitals here in the nation. As we near the end of 2020, we continue to be in remarkable growth mode. And that's why there are so many of you here today. I look now, I see we have 67 people who are attending. We hired more than 145 people to start on this day. I hope it goes without saying, but we are really glad you're here. And under the current circumstances, I can honestly say that we are glad to be here to see faces, to hear voices on this Zoom call. We used to do orientation in person, and both my colleague and I miss it a lot. So the fact that we're connecting to you one-on-one, we are here to help guide you through your first few days and to help you get connected. So by way of introduction, I would like to say that my name, oh, Kimberly, Felicia's all straightened up now. She is forward. I'm so excited now. I'm so excited. By way of introduction, my name is Jody Knowles, and I am a learning and development specialist here at the University of Virginia. I've been here a little over 5 years, and I have done human resources now for 25 plus. I love Charlottesville. I moved here originally from Michigan, but I really love to be in the UVA health environment. I've met some incredible people with incredible stories, and it really does move me that people have chosen the healthcare field to work in. I'm also very, very proud of the fact that I graduated from the University of Virginia, and I graduated in 2017. Now, I know Zoom probably puts a couple of pounds on, but you can tell by my face here that I am not 20 years old. So I graduated as what they call a non-traditional learner. Very excited about that. And you too, I want to make sure that it's pointed out that you too take advantage of all the professional development and learning opportunities you have here at the University of Virginia. I am ever so grateful for my colleague, Rachel. She's here today too. We're gonna have a lot of fun with Rachel. Rachel, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, good morning, everyone. As Jody said, my name is Rachel Parsley. I'm also a learning and development specialist within talent management, which is part of human resources at UVA. Jody and I make up the small but mighty orientation team of 2. Yes, that's right. Just the 2 of us do orientation for both UVA Health and the academic division. So Mondays are kind of our big day. We are doing orientation for one or the other entity every week. We are very excited to be here with you today. We are on session number 2 of being back to at least a virtual format. We were no session whatsoever for about 6 months. So we are so excited to at least be able to see your faces and hear your voices and welcome you in a more personal way. I have also been at UVA for just shy of 5 years. All of that time has been in learning and development and human resources. My background is in communications, marketing, and journalism. So that is me. I come from North Dakota originally, but I've been in Charlottesville for 16 years. So if you are new to the community, definitely welcome you to not only the UVA community, but also the community of Charlottesville, Albemarle, surrounding counties. It's a wonderful place to live, wonderful place to learn, wonderful place to work. So we're excited to welcome all of you today. We've got some great stuff. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat. So if you have questions as we go along, go ahead and put those in. And as Jody mentioned, we'll get to them at the end. So thanks for being here, everybody. We're excited to meet all of you.
Excellent. Thanks, Rachel. So now let's hear a little bit about you. There are many of you who have gone into the healthcare field. It may be because of a specific reason. There are many of you who have also chosen to work at UVA also for a specific reason. We actually love to hear stories about people because that's what helps to provide that patient-centered environment that we work in. Here at UVA Health, every person has a story. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to be sending you off into small groups. You'll spend about 5 minutes. There'll probably only be 4 or 5 of you within the group. You can tell your story to others. What I'd like you to do most importantly though is introduce yourself, tell what group that you'll be working in or what department that you'll be working in at UVA Health, and then tell folks why you're excited to be here today. When you come back to the bigger group, I'll ask for a few volunteers to tell a story, either about themselves or maybe someone they just met. So be ready with your little hand raising emoticon reaction button there in Zoom on your screen. I'll give you a 1-minute warning while you're in your small group as to when you'll be returning. You will be muted, so when I do call on you, you'll have to remember to unmute yourself. Now, please use this time to introduce yourself to a few of your colleagues. This is a really unusual time, as you know, and we don't get a chance to meet with one another or interact with one another as much as we would like. Just spend a few minutes just to get to know one another. So that said, I have about 70 people. So what we're going to do is we're going to put you in groups of about maybe 4 to 5 people. And then we'll come back to you shortly. Someone please be prepared to share your story. I would love, love, love to hear those stories. We'll see you in about 5 minutes. Thanks for sharing your story. My goodness. Good morning. For those of us who have joined us, we have about 70 people in breakout rooms right now introducing themselves. And they are slowly but surely coming back into the main room. And we hope to hear from one or two people to maybe introduce themselves, to understand that we are from all over and that we are going to be working in all areas of the department. So as they come back into the breakout room, we will welcome them back.
You're good.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. I think that we've got just about everybody back. I hope that that was a good experience. I know sometimes it's very difficult to meet people that you don't know very well and to talk about yourself. I can do both things really well, frankly. I can talk about myself, and I feel very comfortable in talking to people. But remember too that the people that are in this room with you right now, they are your colleagues. They are starting at the same time as you. You're starting a new beginning, and they're really not sure what they're facing either. So you're all sort of in the same boat, if you will. So I'm going to ask Rachel to help me a little bit here to see if we can maybe find a volunteer or two by raising the hand and letting us know. It looks like Trevor's already got his hand up, if I can see that. So Trevor, would you like to unmute yourself and talk a little bit about why you're here at UVA, or maybe why you chose the healthcare field?
Jody, it would be my absolute pleasure. Good morning. My name is Trevor Diaz. I actually came to the University of Virginia back in 2012, where I obtained my nursing degree as well as my licensure here in Virginia. I left 6 years ago. I went to Washington, D.C. I was, for all intents, stuck in Washington, D.C.
Oh, no.
But hey, thanks to a pandemic, I finally get to come back. Uh, I went into healthcare specifically because of my mom. She was a role model for me. She became a nurse in the midst of remaking herself at about 55 years old. And I just had the opportunity to follow in her footsteps. And so I'm coming back to UVA. I'll be here for the next 60 years of my life if I get to live that long. And for the immediate future, and golly, no reason to be anywhere else, I'll be in the Naranci Neuro-Intensive Care Unit.
Okay, that's great. Trevor, gosh, that's a great story. I love it when people refer back to, frankly, some kind of connection that had them coming in, whether it was a person or, more importantly, a relative, your mom. This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really great. And what's also exciting is the fact that you went away to now DC, and I don't know if people remember this. I think they still call Charlottesville the hook. And what that means is you go away from Charlottesville, man, you are hooked right back in, because it is just a wonderful little community. So, Trevor, we're really excited to have you here. Thanks for being the first one to share your story.
Oh, Jody, so happy to be back. Thank you for the time.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. I look forward to meeting you in person someday and actually, seeing faces and shaking hands. Awesome. That was great. All right. So Trevor told us a wonderful story about why he chose the healthcare field. Does anybody else? Oh, I love it. The little hands come right to the top of my screen. So looks like Sarah Alter has a story for us too. Sarah, would you like to share your story, please?
Absolutely. So I actually didn't choose nursing at first. I chose engineering, which I was kind of going towards biomedical engineering. So I was always like medically inclined. But I soon found out that that was not the right place for me at all. Did a little soul searching and found nursing because I'm in a legacy of nursing. My grandmother was a nurse. My aunt is a nurse,
I love it.
And I'm also like Trevor, I'm doing this not only for myself, but for my mother, because my mom went to nursing school and she didn't finish. And it was kind of my goal to do this for her,
Yeah.
But I mean, of course, I enjoy the field of nursing. I love it. It's where I need to be,
Yeah.
And I'll be working on the acute cardiac unit. So
Wow. Oh, you guys, these stories. I just love reconnecting with people so much. It's so important. So this is just a great example of really both Trevor and Sarah and every single person in this room. We're now up to 74, which I'm really excited about. So you are so selfless. People are so selfless when they go into the healthcare field. Now, I'm going to say right off, and I'm going to speak for Rachel too, because we are very close. We are not in the healthcare field. We are in the human resources field. And of course, we deal with people. But, and I never say this because I'm from Michigan, y'all out here in this Zoom audience, you've chosen a field to work with people when people are at their most vulnerable. And that is really something that I am honored to be part of, just to talk to each and every one of you. So those are absolutely wonderful stories. Sarah, Trevor, I thank you. I know there's so many of you who have so many stories. I encourage you to continue to share these stories with the people that you meet here at UVA Health, as well as the people that you meet who are your patients, who are your patient's family, because that means that you are indeed human and you care. It's all about not only the field that you've chosen to make people well, but it's also about that care. So thank you all. Those are wonderful, wonderful stories. I can feel it right through Zoom, guys. That really is really magnificent. Thank you so much. So now that I've heard from a couple of folks, let's see what you're getting yourself into here by looking at UVA Health.
Look ahead, beyond today, and you'll see a brighter day coming. Filled with moments you can see in your mind and feel in your heart. The moment an umpire yells, "Batter up." Moments of friendship, joy, togetherness. When that day will arrive is uncertain. But until it does, there is one thing you can be sure of. Everything you need to care for and protect your life is already here.
Everything you need to care for and protect your life is already here and continues to arrive. Today is a great example. As I've already mentioned, we welcome over 100 new hires here to UVA Health today. Many of you will be working in the medical center, in the School of Medicine, with our university physicians group, but you all make up UVA Health, and you are the reason why we are safe, ready, and open for our patients. In the next few minutes, I'm going to provide you with a little overview, a little background about UVA Health, its mission, its goals, its values, and its structure. Rachel is going to have a lot of fun with you to play around with some UVA lingo. And then we're going to provide you with some next steps as you start your new career here with us. The mission of UVA Health is threefold, as you can see here. First and foremost, it's about the care of patients. We're a patient care centered environment, and you're going to hear this often throughout your career here. Secondly, UVA Health's mission is built on healthcare professionals like yourself. Therefore, training is important. It's an important part of your experience. You'll have many opportunities throughout your career to hone and grow in your own development. Finally, UVA is also focused on creating and sharing health knowledge. This is why we partner with the schools of medicine and nursing and their focus on research. Each of these missions, each three of these missions, is steeped in a culture that promotes equity, diversity, and inclusion. The goals of UVA Health are relatively simple, though they look apparently complex. They focus on the patient. The number one goal is to be the safest place to receive care. Seems logical, doesn't it? Well, that's our number one goal. If you notice, the second goal is to be the healthiest work environment. That means we're also going to take care of you, our healthcare professionals, our employees. The third goal is to provide exceptional, not adequate, not good, not even great, but exceptional clinical care. On the other side of the patient, this is where our research really thrives. We generate discoveries that better the human condition. We train healthcare professionals on the future of work, specifically in multidisciplinary teams. You'll see a lot of that here at UVA Health. And we also want to be sure that we spend our resources, not just our dollars, but that we spend our resources wisely. We want to be good stewards of those resources. At UVA Health, we put the patient at the center of everything we do. We aspire to create a culture of trust, respect, and engagement through our values. We live these values, shown here, day to day, and the acronym of ASPIRE helps us to remember how important they are. You'll complete a computer-based learning module on ASPIRE, but know this going forward, that accountability, stewardship, professionalism, integrity, respect, and excellence drives us to do our best work. Can't say this enough. I know you've heard it a lot of times already this morning, but the patient is the center of what we do. No matter where you work, no matter what role you have, you impact the patient. You could be a clinical employee facing patients every day. You could be a transporter parking the car of a patient's family. You might be a researcher looking for that answer to bettering the human condition. You could be like Rachel and I, sort of behind the scenes, keeping those who work with patients satisfied in their work with training, development, benefits. Every one of us has got that focus where we put the patient at the center of what we do. So where do we do this? Well, I'm going to grab my handy dandy little laser pointer here and show you. This is the state of Virginia. And in Virginia, you can see Charlottesville, and UVA Health is located almost in the center here. So if we look here, you'll see an area called the PSA E and the PSAW. These are primary service areas. And as indicated down here, about top 50% of our inpatient volume comes from those two areas. Our SSAs, or the secondary service areas, come from the north and the south. Those are about 25% of our inpatient volume. However, what I want you to be aware of is people can come as far away as here in this little tiny left-hand western corner of Virginia and travel all day, maybe even into the night, to come to Charlottesville. That's a long ways away. That's a good 8, maybe 10-hour drive, depending on stops. And when those people walk into UVA Health, many of you have not done this today, but you are aware of the fact that it's huge. It's overwhelming. We don't know where to park. We don't know where my appointment is. I think I'm running late because I did come so far away. We have to take time for those patients as humans and help them feel comfortable in the UVA Health environment. Keep in mind that people from the patients who come to UVA don't only just come from Virginia. We also have many, many people come from throughout the United States as well as from other countries. The structure of UVA Health is really very interesting. It actually comes under the umbrella of course, the University of Virginia. Over the University of Virginia's leadership is the Board of Visitors. These are 17 voting members appointed by the governor, a full-time student, and a faculty member. This is essentially our president's boss. Our president is President James Ryan. He's a graduate of UVA School of Law. He served as a professor here. He's the 9th president, and he came on board in August of 2018. President Ryan actually oversees university, academic, as well as university UVA Health. Under President Ryan include people like J.J. Davis. J.J. Davis is our EVP, Executive Vice President, as well as our Chief Operating Officer. She oversees all of the operation and the administrative areas, human resources being one of them. Next person we see here is Liz McGill. Liz McGill is our Executive Vice President and Provost. What this means is she oversees the university's academic and the research activities that go through the academic areas. And then we have Dr. Craig Kent. Craig Kent is our Executive Vice President of Health Affairs. He oversees UVA Health and all of its clinical enterprise. Assisting Dr. Kent is Wendy Horton. Wendy Horton is our Chief Operating Officer of UVA Health, and she's responsible for the day-to-day operations here that cover all of those entities. Speaking of the components, you can see here that UVA Health is made up of several different components. The first, where the majority of you will likely be working, is at the medical center. The medical center has more than 12,000 team members like yourself. We have over 600 beds, and it includes the hospital, a trauma center, the primary and specialty care locations throughout Central Virginia, plus the 425,000 square foot emergency department that celebrates its 1-year anniversary this month. That area, that emergency department was put in specifically because we have so many patients funneled through our emergency area. So now we don't have an emergency room or rooms, we have an emergency department. The School of Medicine obviously works hand in hand with UVA Health Medical Center. It's a national model for excellence through innovation and collaboration specifically toward its research. The school continues contributes to the achievements that we talked about in goals 4 and 5 by training care professionals for the future and generating those biomedical discoveries. The University Physicians Group is a separate foundation. It supports the School of Medicine and its clinical department. Every person who comes into the School of Medicine to be a teacher, professor, must be a clinical worker as well. So we have working professionals who are teaching. It's a network community provided across the Central Virginia area. It gives administrative, financial, and clinical management services for UVA clinicians at the UVA Medical Center and in the regional areas throughout the Central Virginia. It's interesting, I think you think that why we would include the library. Well, the library is part of UVA Health. It is a state-of-the-art library with a staff of professionals available to healthcare providers and patients find the latest healthcare related news and information. It's a lovely place to go. However, I do warn you that now because of COVID regulations, it does limit its use. So if you are interested in using the library, you might want to call ahead or email ahead to make sure that you can go into the library. And then not last but least, we do have the School of Nursing. The School of Nursing does report underneath Dr. Kent that I spoke about, the EVP of Health Affairs. It's earned a national reputation for excellence in education, research, and practice. It's ranked as one of the nation's top 25 public nursing schools. Throughout your time at UVA Health, you're going to see a lot of initiatives. These are what we like to call the B's. Be safe, be smart, be well, be wise. These are geared toward keeping the environment safe and healthy for UVA employees. You'll talk about these programs, and if you feel the need to jot them down, talk about them with your manager, talk about them with your coworkers, because these, again, these drive not only the day-to-day operations, but they also drive the fact that you are working in an environment that is now more than ever susceptible to illness and to all kinds of catastrophe. So we want to make sure that our medical center, our schools of medicine, and all of UVA Health is taking care of their employees. This is ever so slightly a touch, just a tip of the iceberg on what we talk about here in orientation. We want to give you just a short overview. And we're really happy that we can have the opportunity to do this today. I encourage you to go out, again, talk to your coworkers, talk to your manager, do a little research. UVA Health has a lot going on. So make sure you don't just stick into your own department, that you also spread out a little bit. Know a lot about the environment that you're working in. So next, I would love Rachel to take the helm. She's going to have a lot of fun with you on a UVA fun poll regarding UVA lingo. Rachel?
Thanks, Jody. So in my breakout room, met a couple of folks. Some were coming from other parts of Virginia. Some were coming from other states, but had worked at UVA before. Some were Charlottesville natives. Many of you may find yourself in one of those boats, either that you're a native, you're from the area originally, or you've worked at UVA before and now you're coming back, or maybe you're just brand new to the area. Jody and I both shared with you that we're not originally from here, but what we want to do with this fun poll is to introduce you to some of the very unique terminology and culture that we have at UVA. You will hear acronyms up the wazoo, and you will probably not know what they mean, and that is okay. I can't tell you how many acronyms and terms and things that we use on a daily basis, and it sometimes sounds like we're speaking in code. Please don't be afraid if you don't understand something, just ask. Everybody knows that it does take some time to use and learn some of the lingo that we use at UVA and some of the culture and the fun facts as well. So we're just going to have a little fun with this and introduce you to a few brief things that you may or may not know, but I think you'll find it to be a fun exercise. So we're going to launch a poll that comes up on your screen. Just go ahead and answer. I'm going to put the first question up now. The first question is UVA's official colors. What are they? Are they orange and navy blue? Are they chartreuse and fuchsia? Or are they maroon and orange? We'll see if we have any fans of the maroon and orange variety in the room today. If you are, it's okay to speak up. All right, one person. Happens every time. It's okay.
Real quickly, for those of you who may not be able to see the poll, if those of you who may be calling in or can just use chat, you can also throw your answer in chat if you want to play along.
Sure. Yes. Thanks, Jody, for pointing that out. Of course,
Sure.
We'll take your answers in chat too. All right. Looks like most of you have had an opportunity to respond. And it looks like overwhelmingly, most of you did choose the correct answer, which is orange and navy blue. Chartreuse and fuchsia is not an option that we're aware of. And maroon and orange, of course, are the colors at Virginia Tech. Fun story about the orange and navy blue. Apparently UVA's colors way back in the day, it's been around for over 200 years, were kind of like a burgundy and gray, and they were playing a football game, and the uniforms were getting too muddy to distinguish between the other team. And there was a fan that was wearing an ascot tie in orange and navy blue and suggested, hey, how about these two colors? And apparently it stuck. So that's another thing you'll maybe find about UVA is we don't necessarily always have an explanation or a reason for why we do the things that we do. It's just maybe it's a time-honored tradition, or it's something that happened a long time ago and it just kind of stuck. So that is one of those. All right, so orange and navy blue are indeed our official colors. We're going to go on to our second question. And here it is. If you are on grounds at UVA, that's a term you'll hear a lot, on grounds, you are where? Are you in a coffee shop? Are you on a mound of dirt? Or are you on the UVA campus? All right. Got some coming in by chat, perfectly fine. Tavira says on UVA campus. Looks like the majority also of you also. Earbeth says campus. Frida says campus. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the rest of you said. Elena says campus. You guys are too smart. Yes, indeed. The answer is on UVA campus. Grounds is a word that you will hear often, although it would make a great name for a coffee shop. Maybe an on grounds. We'll pitch that, Jody. Think about it. But it is indeed the UVA campus. We call it grounds, and it is indeed with a capital G. That's another one of those from way back in Thomas Jefferson days. Wanted to have a special name for the area that encompasses the academic village and the learning at the University of Virginia. So we do indeed call our campus grounds. All right, let's move on to question 3. This one's about lunch. I hope nobody's hungry just yet, but if you were, where would you go for lunch if you're on grounds? Your options are the Corner, the exclusive executive staff lunch emporium. That's where I typically go, but it is closed right now due to COVID. Doesn't exist. Or is it your mom's house? I mean, arguably you could go to your mom's house if your mom lives in the area. Looks like most of you are chiming in with the Corner. Some people want to check out that exclusive executive lunch emporium. We might want to look into establishing that too, Jody. It seems to be a popular answer. All right, we'll go ahead and end the polling. Elena says.
I think we have our future cut out for us.
I think we do. It's setting up restaurants and coffee shops.
Yeah, yeah.
I tell you. All right. Here we go, sharing the results. As you can see, most of you did indeed choose the corner. Another capitalized noun. The corner is an area of UVA grounds that runs along University Avenue, kind of from the rotunda to the east, towards downtown and towards the University Hospital. Those of you that will be working in that area, the corner is a great place to grab lunch. There's several restaurants, there's a CVS, just kind of pick up things. It's handy for students, of course, as well. But if you are working on central grounds or in the hospital area, definitely a great place to grab lunch. Those of you that are going to your mom's, let me know what the address is and I'll show up. I do like grilled cheese if that is an option. Just kidding. We'll go ahead and move on to the next question. Here's our next question. JPJ, told you about acronyms. JPJ is an acronym for what? Is it Jefferson's Pajamas? Is it the bassist from Led Zeppelin? Or does it stand for John Paul Jones Arena? James says John Paul Jones. What does anybody else think? You guys can go ahead and vote. John Paul Jones. Oh, it's not letting you vote. Hold on a second. There we go. Now you can vote. Sorry about that. All right. John Paul Jones Arena. John Paul Jones because I saw Kiss there. Absolutely. John Paul Jones, home of the national champs. You got it, guys. Absolutely. JPJ is indeed an acronym for John Paul Jones Arena. It is our entertainment venue that's affiliated with the university. And yes, indeed, KISS did play there last February. And yes, indeed, that is the home of our national championship basketball team. Very proud of them. It actually is also the name of the bassist from Led Zeppelin. If anyone answered that, you're correct there as well. But JPJ is our entertainment venue. Many of you may be parking in the JPJ parking lot or thereabouts, but we'll get to that in a little bit. We'll move on to our next question. You guys are doing great. We teased this at the beginning, so let's see how you do. The UVA Medical Center has been named what for 5 consecutive years, according to US News and World Report? Is it a patient's paradise, the best place to eat in Charlottesville, or the #1 hospital in Virginia? We must have been hungry when we created this poll. We have lots of food questions, drinks. I will say, if you've not checked out the hospital cafeteria, they actually do have quite a great variety, lots of good stuff, quick things to grab. I'm a fan of the sushi salad bar. All right, we got a lot of #1 hospitals coming in. And let's end the polling and see what those of you that voted on the screen said. Indeed, the answer is the #1 hospital in Virginia. Jody mentioned that earlier. So that was recently released for 5 consecutive years. We've been voted the #1 hospital in Virginia. Very proud of that. And it's because of the hard work that all of you do. So we want you to know that you're a big part of that as well. All right. Got a couple more questions. This one is about people numbers. How many people do you think work at UVA? Your options are nobody works, everybody plays, approximately 30,000 academic and health system employees, or is it enough to take the good parking spots? Now, obviously we've thrown some of these answers in for fun. I see some smiles, so hopefully you guys are having fun with this. We do know that parking is at a premium. And again, we will get to that in just a little bit. James says those are all technically correct. Fair enough, James. UVA is indeed a very fun place to work. There might be some playing involved, but we are very proud of the hard work that we do and the excellent patient care that we provide. All right, let's take a look. The correct answer is approximately 30,000 academic and health system employees. Now that includes everyone that works here in Charlottesville at the health system. It includes all of our academic employees. That also includes folks who work in any kind of remote clinics or remote satellite offices. We actually have employees of UVA in every state in the nation, believe it or not. Folks that work remotely. We have a gentleman in HR that used to work from Alaska, believe it or not. Made the timing of meetings kind of interesting, but he was all about 5 a.m. meetings. So that was okay with us because that's like 9 o'clock our time. But indeed, it is 30,000. It takes a lot of people to keep this machine moving. All right, one more question. The last question is, what is an alternative name for someone who works at UVA? Is it a Cavalier? Is it a Wahoo? Is it a Who? Or is it you? Answers are coming in like wildfire. Look at this. Wow, we're neck and neck with all of these. Tavir says it's you. All of the above. All right. We'll end the polling and take a look. A Cavalier won out just by a hair. However, I was waiting for James to say all these are technically correct because technically, yes, James, yes, they are. Cavalier, let's go through this in case you're not familiar. Yes, you is definitely an acceptable answer. You are now part of a world-class organization. We are so proud to have you working with us and sharing in all the accomplishments and the success at UVA. So you, definitely an acceptable answer. A Cavalier. Cavalier is the official sports mascot of UVA. A Cavalier is a kind of a horseman. He's got the fancy hat with the cap with the feather in it, and has his saber and rides the horse. If anyone's been to the football game, he actually rides that onto the field, kind of fun. So the Cavalier is the official sports mascot. Who and Wahoo? Kind of one and the same. Who is a shortened version of Wahoo. Wahoo is another one of those kind of fables or stories from a long time ago, and there's lots of versions of where this may have come from, but Wahoo is part of the official sports chant. Who is a shortened version of that. Wahoos are typically kind of thought of as the fans of UVA or the sports. But if you, again, go to any kind of sporting event, you'll hear Wahoo Wah, Wahoo, or Who's, which is the shortened version of Wahoo. And Jody says Wahoo Wah. Very good, Jody. So thank you guys for participating in that poll. I hope you enjoyed it. Just meant to have a little fun. You guys all did very well. We tried not to make it too hard, but as I said in the beginning, UVA's got a lot of unique history, a lot of interesting lingo, culture, and it all takes some time to get to know. So again, if you hear anything, see anything, and you're curious about it, just ask. There are tons of resources, and all of your colleagues, I'm sure, would be glad to chat with you about it as well. But know that it is a great place to work. It's a great place to be, a great place to collaborate, and you'll learn all of the lingo in time, I promise. So thanks for participating in that with me. I'm going to turn it back over to Jody.
Rachel, that was a lot of fun. Thank you so much. It's so funny because Tavera said, it's you. And I said, no, it's you. No, it's you. No, it's you. Anyway, yeah, that was really fun. And I thank you. Thank you so much. That we want to have a little fun with you on your first day, because we just want to make sure that you're not too nervous, because we know you are. And that brings us to next steps. So it looks like we have about 10 minutes left. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rally through this pretty quickly so that we can maybe address a few questions if you do have questions at the end. But this last part of this whole last section, will provide you with where you can go and how you can do it for your next steps here at UVA Health. Obviously, we can provide each and every one of you with specialized care, even though you are providing patients with specialized care. Again, remembering that there are more than 100 of you, what we're going to do is we're going to provide you with resources that will help you find the answers to your many, many questions. Your first stop regarding all your questions, I can't say this enough, will be your manager and or a designee that your manager has provided. Now, many managers want to do this themselves. Many of them are entirely busy, so they provide a designee. Find out who, if you don't know yet, who your manager is, and maintain a relationship with that manager, especially during your first few weeks. And if there is a designee, use that person like an orientation buddy. Your next step is this website. You should have access to this already, but if you don't have it, we will provide this link to you. It is off of the HR page. It is the Remote Onboarding and Orientation Guide. It should be in the email that you've received from Talent Support when they first told you you were cleared for hire. And that this is an address that you will refer to often in these next couple of weeks. If you don't have it, make sure you have it. This page is also going to be the where you will find this session that we're doing right now. It's going to be linked on this page. So you are welcome to refer back to that session, even the session prior. This is October 5th. We'll have it linked under the October 5th link if you'd like to see this presentation over again. So here's what you'll see on that orientation page. UVA Health is made up of many components. We just saw this. And these areas do things similarly, but not the same. So when you go to the website we just mentioned, be sure to find the guide that pertains to you and the questions you're asking. If you notice, I'm going to get my laser pointer again. We have remote onboarding guides for managers. We have remote onboarding guides for new hires. We have them for the medical center. We have them for temps. We have them for School of Medicine. We have them for UPG. So please be sure to go to the guide that pertains to you. If you are looking for technological support, and that would be regarding your email, regarding the computer-based learning modules that you will be doing this afternoon, we also have technology essentials guides. So here's the one for Medical Center. Here's the one for School of Medicine. UPG, you will be guided through your own presentation right after this as at another orientation. So they will provide you with technological support. But when you click one of these links, again, make sure it's the link for your area as well as to your entity. Okay, here's what the Remote Onboarding Guide website will help you with. You can see there's a whole series of things once you click that link. There's the network, there's your computing ID and your university ID, two distinctly different things that you need to be aware of. There's how to access through NetBadge and Duo. And I know I'm talking gibberish right now. It's all explained in the Remote Onboarding Guide. It'll help you maneuver through Workday. If you notice here, I put some things in red. These are very important. The I-9 form. The I-9 form section 2 must be completed within Workday 3 days within your hire date. This is not a UVA requirement, it's a federal government requirement. If it's not completed, you may be asked to stop working until you complete it. So once that comes through Workday, make sure you complete your I-9 form section 2. ID badges. ID badges is this is an important part of your look at UVA, but more importantly than a look, it offers you the credibility of working at UVA Health. So what's important to remember is if you have not had your ID badge picture taken, our recommendation is to go Tuesday or Wednesday to get that done. Mondays are insane days at the ID badge office. If you believe your badge is ready, meaning you've had your picture taken, you've turned in your form, you've got everything taken care of, you can stop by the ID badge office and pick it up. But if you have not had your picture taken, I really encourage you to tell your manager or that designee who's going to take you there that you would prefer to do it on Tuesday or Wednesday. Next area in red, parking and transportation. Rachel also sort of referred to this. This is also a very busy place on orientation Mondays. So all medical center hires should have received a temporary parking pass that's good for 2 weeks. If you have not received that parking pass, look at the link in the remote onboarding guide, click the link, print it, and put that 2-week pass in your car. Remember, it's good for 2 weeks. You can make your future parking arrangements within that 2-week period of time. You do not have to do it today. Finally, regarding benefits, we get a wonderful benefit package here at UVA Health. And most of the questions that we receive in the past have been involving benefits. Look over that benefits section in the remote onboarding guide. You'll have 30 days to actually sign up for your benefits from your start date. So if today is your start date, you have 30 days to look it over, review it, talk to other people that you may be putting on as dependents. After you've read the benefits section, if you have further questions, we're going to point you into the direction right now of where you need to contact if you have benefits questions. And do you have questions? Of course you have questions. You have hundreds of questions, not just about benefits, probably about everything I just ticked off on that last slide. It's important to remember that we have a one-stop area that handles questions. It's in a Salesforce case management tool. And so if you ask hr@virginia.edu and you send your email, my advice is this: in your subject matter line, you'll want to be very specific. Say, for example, you have a question about whether your spouse may be covered by benefit coverage or not. Well, then in your subject matter line, even in all caps, put benefits and then put spousal coverage. And then in your email, talk about your question. What's going to happen is the people who are receiving this question are going to see that it's a benefit related question, and it's going to go right directly to the benefits office, and they're going to take care of you as quickly as possible. Honestly, Ask HR is your one-stop shop about anything HR related, any kind of question. And the more specific you can be, then the more direct you can go to the person who is that subject matter expert. All right.
Jody?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd just like to jump in and just give a quick plug that, guys, it is open enrollment for benefits right now. So it just started today, and that goes on for the next 2 weeks. So our benefits team are going to be extremely busy. So please be patient with your inquiries to them, first of all. And secondly, do not wait until day 29 to elect those benefits if you
Good
think
call.
you're going to have questions. Please look into that sooner than later. Please contact them as soon as possible with any questions, and please be patient with their reply.
Rachel, thank you. That's really important to remember. Open enrollment means that it's university-wide, meaning those 30,000 people are now re-electing benefits. So again, that's the specificity in that subject matter line can be very, very helpful to you. Rachel, do you know, do we have any specific questions in the chat at this moment?
We do not.
Okay.
We've actually answered all of them.
Okay, good, because I do know,
One just came in, I'm sorry.
That's okay. What do we do for orientation tomorrow? Depending on your role, that should be very specifically outlined to you in your email or in the remote onboarding guide. There are a lot of people who do continue orientation into day 2 and day 3. Your first stop is to talk to your manager, because it all depends on your role as to what you are doing this afternoon as well as tomorrow. I hope that answered your question, Tara. As I can see, it's 10:01 right now. I know that UPG folks do have another, they may have bopped off already. They have another Zoom. Rachel and I can stay on for a few more minutes in case anyone else has any other question, immediate question. Otherwise, thank you. We are so, so glad that you are here. You're going to do a great job. Thanks for joining us.